Hi, welcome to The Tread. My name is Dallas and I'm the parent of two autistic boys, Ash and Jet. I created The Tread to highlight what it's like being a parent of a child on the spectrum. I want to share some of the knowledge and ideas that I've gained over time, hopefully to inspire you to keep encouraging your child to reach their full potential. I hope you've had a chance to check out part 1 of Feeding My Autistic Kids. In this video, I'm going to be talking and showing you some of the meals that I make for the boys, and also sharing some other ideas on how to be creative in your cooking. When the boys first tried pizza, Ash happily ate it, but Jet would only eat the crusts that didn't have tomato paste or toppings on it. So then I tried making garlic and herb pizzas with cheese on them. Jet ate these a few times, but then stopped. It wasn't until he went on camp, where the kids were involved in the cooking, that he started eating pizza. I think pizza is great because you can add extra stuff into the tomato sauce, like garlic and herbs. This tomato sauce also has pureed red capsicum and kidney beans in it. So now Wednesday night is pizza night and the boys help to make them. I make my own chicken nuggets so that they can be a little bit healthier than the frozen ones. I started off making them the same way that my mum did. Dip the chicken in flour, then egg, and then in breadcrumbs. The boys were happy to eat these. Then I started to experiment with the crumb mix, putting other ingredients in with the breadcrumbs. I add almond meal, spice mix, shredded coconut, sesame seeds, parsley and spinach powder, and salt and pepper. I'll either add dukkha or fajita spice mix just to mix it up. My family loves these. I also use different flours each time, buckwheat, chickpea, coconut flour, just to add a different grain in. When the coconut is fried up, it takes on a sweet flavour, which is really nice on the nuggets. I love Bolognese because it's great to hide things in. Firstly, I make the base, which is mince and passata, then add garlic, chilli and bacon. In go the herbs, usually 2 or 3 different types, and some spinach powder. Then I'll add some pureed red capsicum and kidney beans. Lastly, some grated carrot. Make sure to use a grater with a fine blade. You have to make sure they can't see the vegetables that you put in. Just don't put too many vegetables in at once, otherwise it can taste awful. This happened once with meatballs. I put too many pureed vegetables in them and they just lost their meat taste. So it was back to basics with them. Now I just add garlic, herbs, salt and pepper, egg yolk and breadcrumbs, and they taste delicious. Back to Bolognese, it's never really been one of the boys' favourites. They don't like the texture of pasta, so they just eat the meat sauce on its own. Then I thought maybe if they dipped corn chips in it and ate it that way. So we tried that, but I had to physically dip the chip into the sauce and give it to the boys. This became very time consuming and made it really hard for me to eat my dinner at the same time. So then they had to take a spoonful of the Bolognese and then get the corn chip. This went on for many years, and they would eat all of it most of the time, but it would still take a lot of coaxing. So recently we just stopped it. They still have corn chips with their Bolognese, but it's no longer have a spoonful and then get the chip. Ash will eat all the corn chips first before he touches the Bolognese. This can then make it really hard for us to get him to eat all of it. Sometimes once he sees that Jet has finished his and is getting his dessert, he will then start eating all the rest of the Bolognese. Otherwise, it's no dessert for him. When we first did this with Jet, he would look at me and say, "Corn chip?" waiting for confirmation that he could eat it. I'm trying to encourage him to think for himself, so I would just look away and say nothing. So he now eats both the Bolognese and the corn chips and finishes his meal with very little prompting. Sometimes you just need to be creative and think outside the box and work with what they already like. Rather than buying ready-made foods, try making it yourself and then slowly add or change things, but not too quickly. Here are some examples. If they really like rice or pasta, try adding some bone broth to the water that you cook it in. Start small, 1 tablespoon, and then each time you cook it, add another tablespoon. Bone broth can be made at home, or you can buy it pre-made from the supermarket. It has lots of vitamins and minerals in it, and it's great for digestion. When I was younger, I remember my mum putting choc bits in any of the biscuits that she made, hoping to encourage us to eat healthier ingredients. So we had choc chip Anzac biscuits. These are made with oats, which are high in protein and give long-lasting energy. You can also add cereal or dried fruit to biscuits. Speaking of oats, you can use oat bran instead of breadcrumbs in recipes like meatballs or chicken nuggets. You can also use different types of flour in packet mixes or other recipes. Just replace 1/4 cup of the dry ingredients with oat flour or almond meal or any other type of flour. You may just need to play around with the amounts because some flours are more dense than others and need more liquid. You can also add cocoa to hide any of the flavours that these flours might make. Chocolate balls or Bliss balls are great because you can add extra ingredients. For example, if the recipe says 100 grams of almonds, I will just add 50 grams of almonds and then 50 grams of mixed nuts. The same can go for seeds. If it says 100 grams of sunflower seeds, add the sunflower seeds and pumpkin seeds, chia seeds and sesame seeds. Add a bit extra cocoa to make it more chocolatey. And make sure the ingredients are blended up really fine so that they can't see any bits. I like to put mine in the freezer because it makes them firmer and more chewy. My boys love blueberries, and I started off buying them frozen because they're a lot cheaper than the fresh ones. The fresh ones can be a bit inconsistent in texture and taste. Sometimes they can be hard and bitter or squashy and overripe. Autistic children often like to know what to expect. Frozen berries pretty much always taste the same, although they are a lot messier, but they're very healthy, so I put up with the mess. Needless to say, we always have a wet cloth handy when the boys are having their dessert. My boys really like popcorn, and if you buy it unpopped, it's so cheap. I recently made a batch and added cinnamon sugar to it. They loved it. So I'm going to try some more seasoning recipes just to add more ingredients to their diet. It can be, but I think it's worth it. We've never really been a family where I cook one meal and then if you don't eat it, you go hungry. This is for a few reasons. Having triplets, I would only ever make a meal if 2 out of the 3 kids would eat it. I didn't want to waste time making something that only half the family would eat. So I had this fear that if they didn't eat and had empty stomachs, that they would wake up in the middle of the night. If one woke up, the others would, and you'd have to start the settling process all over again. When I first started making veggie fritters, my husband and daughter didn't like them. They were great for the boys because they wouldn't eat vegetables cooked on their own. So then I started making fritters for the boys and cooking vegetables on their own for the others. As time has gone on, there has become more things that my husband, my daughter and I like to eat that no one else does. Somehow I've turned into a chef that cooks the same meat for everyone and then multiple side dishes most nights. I'm used to doing it now, and recently my daughter has developed an interest in cooking, so she helps me out some nights. I believe that preparing good and wholesome food and offering a wide variety can help not just with physical health, but brain development, and it can also influence our emotions and mood. I hope you found this video helpful. Feel free to ask a question or make a comment down below. And if you like what you see, please give me a like or hit the subscribe button. Thanks for watching. Bye.